What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today we're bringing some Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle news in regards to the new update that's coming out later this week, which of course consists of Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, which is the official name of it. Once again, in case you didn't know, that form that Vegeta got in Dragon Ball Super is called Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, or SSGSS Evolution. It's kind of stupid, whatever. You know, it's still a cool form, but the name sucks. Along with that, we are going to be getting a Dokkan Awakening for Toppo, Jiren, and then also a couple other cards. So without further ado, let's get right into it because there's a lot to cover. Before I start, of course, I want to say much love to the Dokkan Battle subreddit. As always, I will have the link in the description below. And always, much love to MyFGC for pulling out the Super Dark animations, which you can see in the background of this video. So let's talk about Vegeta first, since he seems to be the main entree for this week's update. Super Saiyan Vegeta Devoted Pride. His leader skill is a Pure Saiyan category, which I assume means full-blooded Saiyans. Remember Gohan, how he was half Saiyans, or mixed Saiyans I should say, which lets you play between like the Gohans, the Goten, the Pans in the world? Well, I assume Pure Saiyan means anybody that's fully blooded Saiyan, which means this might be low-key one of the best categories in the game if you think about it. I mean, it looks good on paper, but until I play with it, it just sounds like it's going to be the best one, so we'll see when it actually comes out. As far as what his leader ability does, it's plus 3 ki, as you guys know, the standard stuff. HP and defense plus 170%, and attack is a whopping 130%, stuff that we had already seen before. His super attack is the Game of Burst Flash, which, by the way, yes, that is straight from the manga. Finally, we got some more manga love as they pull out an attack that Vegeta did in the manga, and it deals immense damage and greatly lowers defense to the enemy. The passive is Stimulated Pride, attack plus 120% and defense plus 60%. Perform an additional attack 2 times, and every attack increases defense by 7%, maxing out 70%. Now note, I saw actually Z-Hall tweeting about this on Twitter, and he mentioned that it says nothing about super attacks, so it seems to be only regular additional attacks, not super attacks. Not sure how confirmed it actually is, but he tweeted about it, so for all we know, it might be true. So we'll see when the card actually comes out. As far as links, we got Prodigies, Super Saiyan, Royal Lineage, Warrior Gods, Prepare for Battle, Turn Power, and Fierce Battle. The categories he fits in consist of Realm of Gods, Universe, Survival Saga, and the Pure Saiyan. Now, naturally, this Vegeta is not going to leave us empty-handed because he also has a transformation, but it's kind of a weird one. So for starters, again, much love to MyFGC for the information. My tweeted that the passive is going to be attack and defense plus 130% up at the beginning of the turn, and you always attack 2 more times, which again, I assume means regular attacks. And every time you attack, the attack will stack by 10%, maxing out 70%. So basically, within about 4 or 5 rotations, this card is going to be hitting pretty nasty hard from the looks of it. I mean, I don't know the number at the top of the head because I don't have the stats in front of me, but it sounds like with all the stacks and the buffs that this card gets, it's going to be stupid. Now, here's the thing that's a little bit confusing. So, the transformation is chance-based. At first, I tweeted that it was based on how much HP you have, but actually that's not the case. What happens is after 4 turns, you have a 30% chance to transform with Vegeta, and then you get the boost. So, unfortunately, we're back to the whole RNG factor of having to basically wait and cross our fingers that the transformation triggers. But hey, at least it's a lot better than dropping below 30% HP like originally tweeted, because if that was the case, that would be almost impossible to see. Because if you guys remember, with the fusion cards that came out a couple months ago, it was annoying. Not only did you have to wait 6 turns, but you also have to drop below 50% to see the fusion actually trigger, and then from there, the cards become badass. But in this case, it looks like only 4 turns, and then pray to the RNG gods that the transformation kicks in. But the good news is, even if you're not transformed, this Vegeta is still badass. Now, by far the most controversial card we're getting this week, or I should say Dokkan Awakening we're getting this week, is Jiren, because he doesn't transform or have any kind of transformation mechanic at all. And it's even more confusing because if you log into the game this week, the first thing you see is a shirtless Jiren. We call him Transformed Jiren, but it's not really a transformation, it's more of a full power Jiren. But nevertheless, it seemed like we were going to get a Transformed Jiren, but actually we're not getting that at all. So, the Jiren that came out a couple months ago is indeed getting a Dokkan Awakening, and the stats are right here. Universe, Survival Saga categories are basically the same stuff, which is going to consist of a 150% boost to attack, HP, and defense, and strength types will get a boost by only 50% and plus 3 ki. So, you basically want to run a Universe Survival Saga team with Jiren. His super attack is Overheat Magnetron, which deals immense damage and greatly lowers defense of the enemy. His passive is badass. Energy Pressure, at the start of the turn, own attack and defense up 130%, medium chance to stun all enemies, just like we saw before, and when attacking a stunned enemy, perform a guaranteed crit, which is insane. However, still no transformation, and it's even more confusing because, again, they advertise Transform Jiren in the actual news section, so what I assume that actually means is that's got to be like a boss battle part of the Jiren event. It's the only thing that makes sense. So the question is whether or not we'll actually see the Jiren come out at some point later this week. Now, I do want to point out that in the data mine that was released earlier this evening, we do have a Tech Jiren, which also was included, which I assume Can't confirm, but I assume it's going to be a drop in the Jiren event, which you can actually use to raise the super attack of the current Jiren. So it's kind of like a win there. But still, like, I want to see a transformed Jiren. But at the same time, with how badass Jiren already is, I feel like a transformation would be kind of busted. But then again, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. For all we know, they're probably saving that transformation for the future for like an LR Jiren or something. So we'll see what happens then. As far as links, he has Cold Judgment, Shock and Speed, Infighter, Hero of Justice, Tournament of Power, Fierce Battle, Godly Power. In the categories, he's got the Universal Viral Saga and the Realm of Gods. Speaking of transformations, his buddy Toppo actually is going to transform when he gets his Dokkan Awakening. Now, to not confuse anybody, he's not actually going to have a transformation mechanic like Ultra Instinct Goku and the Fusion cards. He's just transforming into God Destruction mode when he Dokkan Awakens. Wow, good English rhyme style. His leader skill is going to be +2 Ki and HP attack defense 70% out, which isn't that great, but I mean, I guess if you have no other good lead skills, he is a decent rainbow leader. His super attack is the Destruction Ball, which deals supreme damage to the enemy, and allies' attack are going to increase by 25% for 1 turn. His passive is Strength Cell of Awakening. All allies attack and defense +35%, and all enemies lose 50% in defense. His links consist of Shock and Speed, Godly Power, Tournament of Power, Fierce Battle, Rival Duo, Supreme Warrior, Tough as Nails, and the category consists of Universal Viral Saga and the Realm of Gods. Now, I want to point out that actually that when he transforms, or when he Dokkan Awakens into this form, he does lose the Hero of Justice link, which is, I think, is kind of cool and pays homage to what happens in this series when he threw away everything that he believed in to achieve that form. But also, it kind of sucks because that did link with Jiren, but it is what it is. He's still pretty badass. And I do want to point out that as badass as Toppo is, he's still mostly a support unit. You don't want to rely on him to be hitting for a bajillion. In fact, I don't think he's going to even be hitting for that crazy high unless you like 100%, for example. But he's going to be more of a support unit, which is actually still cool because he does add really good support to his allies. And while we're on the topic of Dokkan Awakenings, we're also finally getting a Dokkan Awakening for Android 17, which, by the way, big shout out to Nano, because I believe Nano has his tech Android 17 at 100%, so this card's about to be badass on his team. When we race, don't use that. You don't get to use that. It's not fair. I'm just kidding. But as far as what Android 17 does when he's awakened, his leader skill is Tech Type Ki +2, HP attack defense +90%. His super attack is High Power Blitz, which deals supreme damage and raises his attack for 6 turns. His passive, which is the Family Vacation Dream, attack and defense +70%, attack +15%, and defense +10% per tech and Ki orb obtained. So it's kind of like a nuclear tanker, basically, for every single tech orb he gets. His links consist of Androids, Twin Terrors, Infinite Energy, Patrol, Shock and Speed, Tournament of Power, and Shattering the Limit. And the categories is only going to be the Universal Rival Saga, which kind of makes sense. Also, his sister, Android 18, is also going to get a Dokkan Awakening, which consists of leader skill Tech Type 2 Ki, HP attack defense +70%. Why is she only 70% and he gets a 90%? It's unfair. It is what it is. The super attack is Excel Dance, which actually has 17 pop in. It deals supreme damage and raises defense by 30% for 6 turns. Strong Family Love, attack defense +70%. Changes physical spheres to tech, attack +12% and +7% for defense for every key sphere obtained. So she also kind of has a nuking, I guess, ability along with her passive. Her links consist of Android Twin Terrors, Infinite Energy, Battlefield Diva, Innocence, Tournament of Power, and Shattering the Limit. And of course, the category is going to consist of the Universal Rival Saga. This update is actually pretty badass if you think about it, because there's a lot of stuff coming out for the Universal Rival arc, which, you know, a couple of months ago was kind of empty, but now there's so many different options you can run for different teams based on what you may or may not already have in your Dokkan box. It's actually cool to see them actually further building out on more units for that arc. By the way, there's also 2 more cards that I'm not going to really dive into just because I don't really care that much. We're also getting a Dispo, and then we're also going to be getting another Rebrian that transforms, which again, I just don't really care about Rebrian, so I'm not going to cover it. But again, all the information I don't cover will be in the description below on the subreddit, so make sure you go check that out. If you have any other questions and discussion topics, you can also take that over there as well, because everybody right now is really digging into all these new units that are coming out. Also, we're getting another Super Saiyan 2 Goku and another Majin Vegeta for some reason. I don't know why they've been releasing these over the course of the last, couple months. I mean, this is like the 4th month now. But we're also getting that as well, which I assume will be stuck into the banners whenever the banner goes live later this week. But also want to let you guys know that those units are coming out as well. But I'm not going to really cover them just because I don't really care that much for those. But again, if you want to read all that, in the description below. So that should be everything. Again, anything that I missed or just don't choose to talk about will be in the description below in the subreddit. But the question I'm going to ask you guys is, of everything I discussed in tonight's video, what are you most hyped for and why? Let me know in the comment section below. As hyped as I am for Vegeta, I gotta say the Jiren is awesome. Granted, the ability to stun is basically useless in most events these days, since most events don't allow you to seal, stun, or do any of that stuff anymore. However, I feel like it's going to be a useful ability in like Super Battle Royal, for example, or Boss Rush, where, you know, you can stun, and then when that happens, you actually get that guaranteed critical. Jiren's going to be insane. But then at the same time, the Vegeta is kind of insane with his Saiyan, or his pure Saiyan leader skill, which I know is going to be stacked with so many different units in the game. So I guess, you know, both of them are pretty high if you ask me, but I still gotta go with Jiren just because Jiren's awesome. So let me know in the comment section below what you're most hyped for and why, and I guess we can discuss it as a community. So the second the banner comes out later this week, I'm probably gonna do a summon or two, and of course expect some races with Nano, as well as anybody else that's in the Dokkan community that I'm gonna connect with later this week. So the content's gonna be fire. Get excited. Make sure you thumbs up this video because there's a lot of hype stuff happening later this week. But other than that, I guess, oh yeah, one last thing. They're also releasing an SR version of Elder Kai, which has a 30% chance to raise the super attacks. Now, I don't know exactly how it's going to be obtainable. It didn't really say. I assume it's probably going to be either farmable or it's going to be like in the shop or something. But I guess it's going to be part of Golden Week. But I do want to let you guys know that it has a 30% chance to increase super attacks as opposed to a 100% chance. So it means it's got to be at least easy to get, which I think is kind of cool, because then you can probably farm those or something, depending on how it's obtainable, and it's going to allow you to basically have more freedom to raise other units' super attacks that don't necessarily have farmable units. So as far as more information about that, we'll talk about that later this week, but that's also something that was also pointed out in this week's update. So with that said, let me know your thoughts on everything down below, leave a like, and I guess we can discuss it as a community. My name is Rhymestyle, hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys later this week with some more awesome Dokkan content. Peace.